The jelly wobbled. It wasn't just a little wiggle. It was a full-body earthquake of purple gelatin. Bongo Bunny stood on the edge of his carrot patch, ears twitching like radar dishes. Thump, thump, thump. The ground beneath his fluffy white paws felt soft. Too soft. He looked down. The dirt was gone. In its place was a giant, shimmering mound of grape jelly. "Oh, carrots," Bongo whispered. His foot slipped. Squelch. He tried to pull it out, but the jelly held on tight, like a sticky hug that wouldn't let go. With a loud pop, his foot came free, sending him flying backward. He landed with a boing on a large, bouncy mushroom. But this wasn't his backyard anymore. The sky above was pink. The clouds were made of whipped cream. And the sun? The sun was a giant lemon drop. Bongo gasped. He had bounced so hard, he had launched himself off Earth and onto the jelly planet. Picture this: a bunny in a spacesuit made of tinfoil, standing on a planet where everything jiggles. Bongo adjusted his foil hat. "Okay, Bongo," he said to himself. "Don't panic. Just find a way home before lunch." But then it got worse. The ground beneath him started to ripple. A small hill of orange jelly rose up, then another, then a third. They weren't hills. They were toes. Giant, wobbly, orange jelly toes. The ground shook as a massive figure stepped forward. It was Jalassa, the queen of wobble. She was 30 feet tall, made entirely of citrus-flavored gelatin, and she looked very confused. "Who goes there?" Her voice boomed, sounding like a spoon hitting a glass bowl. Cling! Bongo froze. He tried to look small. He pulled his ears down over his eyes. "Just a passing traveler," he squeaked. Jalassa leaned down. Her face was translucent and shiny. "You are not jelly," she stated. "You are solid. Solids are forbidden on the jelly planet. We bounce, we wobble, we do not stand still." Bongo's heart hammered against his ribs. Thump, thump. If he stayed still, he would be banned. Or worse, stuck in a mold. "I can wobble," Bongo lied. He started to shake his legs. It looked less like wobbling and more like he had eaten too many spicy carrots. Jalassa narrowed her jelly eyes. "Prove it. Join the Great Wiggle Parade. If you cannot keep up, you will be turned into a garnish." Before Bongo could ask what a garnish was, a trumpet sounded. Toot toot! The parade began. Thousands of jelly creatures slid past him. They were red, green, blue, and yellow. They moved in perfect, rhythmic waves. Bongo took a deep breath. He had to move. He jumped. Boing! He landed on a red jelly bean person. The bean bounced him higher. Boing! He landed on a green lime slab. Splat! He slid down its back. This was moment one. The silly mistake. Bongo realized too late that he couldn't just jump. He had to flow. He tried to slide like the others, but his fur created friction. Scritch, scratch. He spun out of control, knocking over a tower of marshmallow drums. Crash! The music stopped. Every eye on the planet turned to him. Jalassa frowned. "Chaos," she rumbled. "Seize him!" Two guard jellies, shaped like cubes, slid toward him. They didn't run. They oozed quickly. Bongo didn't wait. He turned and hopped. Zoom! He dashed through the crowd of jelly people. They parted like water, but every time he touched them, he got stickier. His left foot was now covered in strawberry goo. His right ear was stuck to a piece of pineapple. "Catch the solid!" the guards shouted. Their voices sounded like bubbles popping. Bongo zigzagged through a forest of licorice trees. The branches whipped around, trying to tag him. Swish! He ducked under a low-hanging gumdrop. Dodge! This was moment 2. The chase begins. It was fast and frantic. Bongo's lungs burned. He needed a place to hide. He saw a cave made of rock candy nearby. It looked sturdy, solid, safe. He sprinted toward it, his sticky feet making slap, slap, slap noises against the jelly ground. The cube guards were gaining on him. They merged together to form a bigger, faster cube. Bongo pushed harder. His tinfoil suit crinkled loudly. Crinkle, crackle. He reached the cave entrance and dove inside. Whoosh! He rolled to a stop in the dark. Silence. For a second, he thought he was safe. Then, a small light flickered on. It wasn't a flashlight. It was a nose. A tiny, glowing blue nose attached to a small, round creature. The creature looked like a ball of blueberry jam with legs. It blinked. "Hello," it said softly. "You are very loud for a solid." Bongo sat up, brushing candy dust off his knees. "Sorry," he whispered. "I'm being chased." The little jam ball tilted its head. "By the cubes? Oh dear, they have no sense of humor." The creature extended a small, sticky hand. "I am Blip. I live here. It is quiet and dry, mostly." Bongo smiled. This was moment 3, the unexpected helper. "I'm Bongo. I need to get home. Do you know how to leave this planet?" Blip's eyes widened.
"Leave? Nobody leaves. The gravity gel holds us all. Unless—" Blip trailed off. "Unless what?" Bongo asked, leaning in. "Unless you find the core spoon," Blip whispered. "It is the only thing that can cut through the gravity field. But it is kept in the castle of custard, and the castle is guarded by the Shiver King." Bongo gulped. The Shiver King? That sounded cold. And scary. "Is there another way?" Bongo asked. Blip shook his head. "No, but I can help you get there. I know the secret tunnels, the ones made of hard candy. They don't wobble." Bongo nodded. "Lead the way." They crept out of the cave. The coast was clear, or so they thought. Blip led Bongo to a crack in the ground. It looked like a fault line in a giant chocolate bar. "Down here," Blip said. They squeezed into the tunnel. It was tight. Bongo had to suck in his belly. Squeeze. They crawled through the dark, the walls crunchy and sweet. After a few minutes, they emerged into a vast underground cavern. In the center stood the castle of custard. It was yellow, creamy, and towering. Bridges made of wafer cookies connected the towers. But between them and the castle lay the Lake of Lumps. It was a sea of lumpy, uneven pudding. "We have to cross it," Blip said. Bongo looked at the pudding. It looked thick. "How?" he asked. Blip pointed to a series of floating crackers. "Step on the crackers, but be careful. If you step on a lump, you sink." Bongo took a deep breath. He stepped onto the first cracker. Crunch. It held. He stepped to the next. Crunch. He was halfway across when disaster struck. A giant bubble rose from the pudding below. Gloop. It popped right under Bongo's foot. The cracker tilted. Bongo flailed his arms. Whoa! He lost his balance. His tinfoil suit caught the light,
reflecting a beam straight into the eyes of a guard patrolling the castle wall. The guard spotted him. "Intruder!" the guard yelled. Alarm bells rang. Ding dong ding! This was moment 4. Everything goes wrong. The wafer bridges began to retract. The crackers started to sink. Bongo was stranded in the middle of the lake. "Blip!" Bongo shouted. "What do I do?" Blip, who had stayed on the shore, looked panicked. "Jump to the custard wall. It's sticky, but it holds." Bongo looked at the castle wall. It was 10 feet away, too far for a normal jump. But Bongo wasn't normal. He was a bunny. He crouched low, his muscles tensed. The guards were sliding down the wall toward him, moving fast on the creamy surface. Bongo closed his eyes. He thought of his carrot patch. He thought of his comfortable bed. He thought of not being a garnish. He exploded upward. Boing! He soared through the air, arms stretched out. Time seemed to slow down. He could see the individual crumbs on the wafer bridge below. He could see the surprised faces of the custard guards. He reached out. His paws hit the custard wall. Splat! He stuck. He hung there, dangling, as the guards slid past him, unable to stop their momentum on the slippery surface. They slid right off the edge and into the pudding lake below. Plop! Bongo pulled himself up. He was inside the castle. Blip cheered from the shore. "You did it!" Bongo wiped custard from his eyes. "Now, where is the core spoon?" Blip pointed to the highest tower. "At the top, but beware the Shiver King." Bongo climbed the spiral staircase made of hardened caramel. It was sticky and slow. Stick, pull, stick, pull. By the time he reached the top, he was tired. The door to the throne room was made of ice cream. It was freezing cold. Bongo shivered. He pushed the door open. Creak. Inside, the room was vast and cold. Frost covered the walls. In the center sat the Shiver King. He was a massive block of vanilla ice cream, wearing a crown of frozen berries. He looked sad. "Who disturbs my chill?" the king asked. His voice was shaky, like chattering teeth. Bongo stepped forward. "I am Bongo. I need the core spoon to go home." The Shiver King sighed. A cloud of cold mist came out of his mouth. "Take it," he said. "I do not want it anymore." Bongo blinked. "Really?" "Yes," the king said. "It is too heavy. It makes me cold. I just want to melt a little, but the rules say I must guard it." Bongo looked at the core spoon. It was huge, made of silver, and glowing with energy. It rested on a pedestal of dry ice. Bongo approached it carefully. This was moment 5, the smart comeback. Instead of grabbing it, Bongo looked at the king. "Why do you have to guard it?" he asked. "Because I am the king," the king said. "But kings can change rules," Bongo said gently. "What if you didn't guard it? What if you shared it?" The king looked confused. "Share it?" "Yes," Bongo said. "If you let me take it to leave, you won't be guarding it anymore. You'll be helping. And helpers don't have to stay cold." The king thought about this. The frost on his eyebrows melted slightly. "Helping sounds warm," he said. He stepped aside. Bongo grabbed the core spoon. It was lighter than he expected. As soon as he touched it, the room began to shake. Not a jelly wobble, but a real earthquake. The ceiling cracked. "Hurry!" Blip's voice echoed from the stairs. "The planet is reacting to the spoon!" Bongo ran to the window. Below, the jelly planet was starting to swirl. A vortex was forming in the sky. "How do I use it?" Bongo yelled. "Point it at the sky!" Blip shouted. Bongo raised the spoon. He aimed it at the pink sky. A beam of silver light shot out. Zap! The beam hit the lemon drop sun. The sun split open, revealing a portal. A swirling tunnel of stars appeared. "Jump!" Blip cried. Bongo looked at Blip. "Come with me," he offered. Blip shook his head. "I am jelly. I belong here. But thank you, Bongo. You made the king smile." Bongo smiled back. He leaped out the window, aiming for the portal. He flew through the air, the core spoon in his hand. The wind rushed past his ears. Whoosh! He entered the portal. The colors swirled. Pink, yellow, blue. He felt weightless. Then, suddenly, gravity returned. Thud! He landed on something soft. He opened his eyes. He was back in his carrot patch. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange. The ground was dirt. Normal, firm dirt. Bongo sat up. He checked his paws. No jelly. He checked his ears. No pineapple. He was home. He laughed. It was a happy, relieved laugh. He looked at the core spoon. It had turned into a regular silver spoon. He shrugged. "Well," he said, "at least I have a souvenir." He stood up and brushed off the dirt. He walked toward his burrow, hungry for dinner. He opened his cupboard to get a carrot. But when he reached in, his hand touched something soft, something wobbly. He pulled it out. It was a single, purple, grape jelly bean. It winked at him. Bongo froze. He looked at the spoon. He looked at the jelly bean. He slowly put the jelly bean back. He closed the cupboard. He decided to eat salad instead. And that's when things got weird, because the salad started to jiggle.